is moving in from the south, meaning urban Honolulu will bear the brunt of it.
Placed all the towels with dry towels, dumped out all the little buckets of water. Seems to be good so far, and we have about 12 or 14 more hours of rain. Oh boy.
Hey, I'm Kelsi, and this is my husband Patrick. We're scientists and avid environmentalists turned adventure elopement photographers. We've been living in Hawaii for the past 5 years. We're following our dreams and just bought this boat. Her name is Blue Planet, and we're renovating the entire thing. Follow along and watch the transformation as we prepare for epic elopements at sea.
So we just had a passing rainstorm. It actually dropped a lot of water on board. Luckily we were here doing some work inside, but we happened to notice that there are a lot of places that are leaking, particularly around the tow rail. Clearly some of the deck hardware is leaking. So we kind of need to prioritize doing the tow rail. We're gonna seal it, varnish it. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. I know that's probably just a short-term fix, but it's all we can do at this point. I might try and rebed some of the deck hardware using butyl tape to kind of seal it a little better, but again, I don't know how much that's actually gonna help. I also discovered that one of our port lights, this one, has been leaking. The gasket around the port light was really old and kind of crumbling, so I assume that's the big issue. That's the only leak that actually created some sort of puddle here on the floor. So that's the one I'm most worried about. So for now, we'll seal it off, tape it off with plastic on the outside. So hopefully that'll keep any water from coming in. And I'll work on sealing the port light later. We also have a storm coming in, so this is not really good timing. If it rains a lot, as it's projected to, then we could have a lot of water coming in at this leaky joint. And that's the last thing we want, given that we have new floors that were just put in. The brand new wood hasn't been sealed yet, so we're kind of at the most vulnerable state right now, and this is exactly when we don't want water coming in. Oh boy.
And there's more breaking news. This one's storm related. The downtown district has lost power.
The storm is moving in from the south, meaning urban Honolulu will bear the brunt of it.
Thunderstorms that are firing up to the south of us.
Oahu's been getting the worst of it tonight, with rain falling virtually nonstop for hours.
We watched from our balcony apartment with trepidation as the clouds rolled in and streets below began to flood. To the boat right now to check on the lines and make sure everything's okay. Patrick already went this morning because we had a wild night last night. There's currently a Kona low, which is a nice way of saying a winter tropical storm. The Big Island got a blizzard and a foot of snow from this storm, and we're experiencing probably the worst rain we've had in 5 years of living here, and all the added stress of being new boat owners. Is a 10-foot swell off the coast, 30 to 40-foot swell in open seas, a gale warning, flood warning. It's pretty scary, and we wouldn't normally go out in this weather, but we have to check on the boat. So we're headed down to the harbor just to make sure that all of the lines are still good and that those leaks are minimal and being captured. There's a leak back up here from the tow rail. We have a towel beneath this one because we ran out of bins.
So yeah, woke up first thing this morning and didn't even have coffee, just came straight to the boat as soon as I could. Our boat was generally fine other than the leaks that we detected. But the catamaran next to us had a broken dock line and was coming really close to our side of the dock and actually was kind of rubbing up against it as well. And in the swell, that could have been bad over the course of the day. So I jumped on their boat, let them know, and redid some of their dock lines. They luckily had an extra one on deck, so I was able to tie another line off for them so their boat wasn't smashing into the dock anymore. Just very hectic morning.
We visited our boat after a lull in the storm, but remnants of its strength were visible all throughout the harbor, including ripped dock lines on other boats and a ripped jib on our own.
Placed all the towels with dry towels, dumped out all the little buckets of water. Seems to be good so far, and we have about 12 or 14 more hours of rain.
After 3 days of non-stop rain, the storm began to pass, and the sun finally came out. We had already sanded the tow rail before the storm, so we immediately got to work cleaning it with a solution of bleach, water, and Dawn soap. Then we gave it a final rinse with fresh water, let it dry, and Patrick applied the first of many coats of varnish.
While I'm waiting for the varnish to dry, I'm going to seal up some of the leaky windows we had. Looks like the previous owners didn't quite get around to fully sealing them. As I'm pulling them off, I'm noticing that there's no sealant in between the window and the side of the hole, so that's what I'm going to do today. We're here before sunrise to get all of the varnishing done before the sun gets too hot and direct. And with enough time for it to dry in between coats, we should be able to do 2 coats of varnish today.
There's still a couple of places on the exterior of the boat that need to be varnished, but since we're in the middle of rainy season and we see rain every single day, it's hard to complete these projects, and we'll get to them when we get to them. We're rebedding the hardware on our Genoa track. It was the main source of leaks during the last big storm that we had, and we needed to seal that area so that the cabinets can go in. Unfortunately, the stainless steel screws have not held up that well. We have some that are too short. This one needs to be replaced. This one broke off as we were screwing it in, so it's missing its tip. So we're fixing what we can. So I'm just taking a small piece of beetle tape, making sure that all of the old gunky stuff is out of the hole. And then I'm gonna shove that down into the hole as much as I can. Then I take my second piece of beetle tape and my screw, and I'm just gonna flatten this around the screw and leave this little part out, making it easier to push in. I know that this seems like a fairly straightforward project, but there are 37 bolts on each side of the boat and they're extremely difficult to access. In fact, there's a number that we couldn't even get to. So we're doing the best that we can with this short-term fix.
All right, I just tested with the hose to make sure that Nothing is still leaking. It looks pretty good. So we did the teak toe rail varnish. We also rebedded the deck hardware, and we resealed some of the windows and other areas around the boat that just weren't sealed very well in the first place. So everything should be pretty good. So all the leaks that we were able to get to have been fixed. We tested them out to make sure that it'll hold for now.
So we were almost done fixing the Genoa track on the starboard side of the boat. It's a lot more difficult to access. And while we were doing that, I really stupidly hit my foot on something. I was moving too quickly and I broke my toe. So we're not going to be doing any sailing anytime soon, and I'm just kind of hobbling about and not much help at this point. So we've essentially given up on the idea that the boat is going to be up and running for charters by the end of the year. That's obviously not going to happen. There is a lot of work that has happened, but unfortunately many things are on hold. But we still want to show you a walkthrough of all the projects that have been done to date because the boat is looking beautiful, and we'll do future videos with updates specifically on the floor and the counters and everything else.
We first want to thank everyone for their continued support and wish you all a Happy New Year. We have immense privilege and have been super fortunate, and for that we are grateful. As a marine biologist who studies coral reefs and climate change, I see firsthand the drastic changes that are happening to fragile ecosystems. While storms like this are a normal part of island ecosystems, cyclones are becoming stronger and more frequent, not to mention the rise in other climate-related disasters. So in the spirit of giving and growing, here's 4 things we can do, and ask that you do too.
Number 1, calculate your carbon emissions for the year and pay to offset them. Number 2, shop sustainable and local. Number 3, support Indigenous coalitions and nonprofits. And number 4, always practice ecotourism. See the links in the description below for more resources.
Together we can bring positivity to the new year and make some changes that can resonate, helping the land, sea, and communities that support all of us.
We're so excited for all of the growth and adventure awaiting us in 2022. Thanks for following along.